Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make an informed decision. And guys, I think you'll probably want to hear this because this is all good news. And I'm going to give you an overview of how the American banking system is going to tie into the global banking system because we have two different structures going on right now, but it is going to come together. And this article I'm going to share with you kind of uh, gave me the understanding of how that's going to work. Now, I find all this information to be really positive, and guys, it truly gave me like a calm came over my body when I read this article because it just solidified that all my convictions of what I thought I knew about the ISO 222 compliant tokens and how the banking sector is going to play out. Well, now, it's just more clarification and more confirmation. So it got me really excited. And now I can focus on some other things. And I'm going to share my input with you guys. And if you bear with me, I'm going to tie it in at the end toward how I truly believe, if we're lucky, and I hope I'm right, that the Ripple XRP versus SEC court case is not really about XRP being a security. And I hope I'm right, and I look forward to getting your feedback in the comments section. So let's dive into it. Now, guys, this is an article from the American Banker. The guys that put on the suit and ties every day, this is kind of where they get their information. And I would say there is some good information in there. However, it's not up to date. Now, this article just came out on the 28th of this month. Now, when I first read the article, it kind of triggered me because it says bankers design a new blockchain that works like Bitcoin, but it's regulated. When I heard banks, I thought of government and regulation. And normally, when you hear that, that means something is taken away from us, and it's normally opportunity and money. Well, as I dug into it, guys, here's the good news. They're only talking about distributed ledger technology that we're all familiar with. And they talk about two different sectors. And that's the piece that's kind of tied this in together for me and really got me excited. Because here's the thing, guys. I did a couple of videos in the last month or so about Cosmos. And most people didn't even know that Cosmos was an ISO 222 compliant token. And I still have yet to hear people talk about it. Well, now I really understand more about it, and this article clarifies it. But you have the American banking sector of what they're trying to do and what they are doing. And then you have the rest of the banks around the world, and you have like the Fed and the central banks. Well, right now we have two different avenues, but they're going to come together. Now, in this article, remember, this is the American Bankers newsletter. They're talking about the American banking sector. Well, in the article I created a while back about Cosmos, and I will leave a link down below. I've created 2 or 3 of them. I'll leave that down there if you have an interest, because I really do think that's a sleeper. Atom token is it's going to hit new highs in the next bull run. But anyway, that's not financial advice. What I want to share with you guys is they talk about in this article how you got cutting edge technology and everything's going to change, but it also goes into talking about, it says banks already use shared distributed ledger in a few cases. And in the article it talks about, look, the banks are set up, a lot of them, especially internationally, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But they can't use it because it's not regulated. Well, Providence Blockchain Foundation has 50 American banks that have came together and created basically their own fundamentals and their own infrastructure, right? Well, 3 of those banks are already up and running. You know how we hear the banking reset's coming? Well, guys, it's already started. And for just so you know, those banks are using Cosmos. And again, I've done the video on that. Now, that's the banking sector in America. And they talk about, look, we're not going to invest whatsoever in any blockchain or any infrastructure for our bank that's not regulated. So everything they do, it's not going to change when regulation comes as far as the American banking sector. Now, it also talks about a group called the CLS group. Now, that ties what's going on internationally. Now, bear with me, guys, because here's my philosophy and has been from day one. I want to always follow the smart money. The U.S. government, central banks, and Wall Street, for the most part, is that group that's going to pick winners and losers in everything. So I want to follow them. Now, yes, they may not be successful in picking every winner or losers, but they have the biggest input. Now, bear with me. Just like in sales or in business, when you hear the saying that, 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers, well, that's kind of the group that I want to follow. And there's really one big group in the world that pretty much control everything. And they're going to control banking, and they're going to control regulation, and they're going to control the majority of crypto and blockchain and everything. Now, are there some more powerful entities out there that have a lot of power? Yes, but they're not the group. This is like the who's who group of everything. And it includes like the CLS group, which is a specialized financial infrastructure group with like the FX markets and settlements. They're massive and very powerful, tied into banking, currencies, trading platforms, and Wall Street. It's all one powerful group. Well, that group is tied in with like JP Morgan, the US government, the Fed, R3 Quarter, IBM, etc., Wells Fargo. That's the group that I follow. Ethereum Alliance. There's I don't know, maybe 100 corporations that are in this network. Well, those are the players. Like IBM, for instance. Guys, if I had to pick one blockchain corporation or company, whatever you want to call them, because most people don't think of them as being in crypto, but they probably, arguably, you could definitely have a debate, are the most powerful company. More than JP Morgan, more than any bank. I mean, they are so powerful. They have over 1,200 crypto networks that they've set up for their customers around the world already in place. That's powerful, guys. And we're not talking about mom and pop type companies. We're talking about major corporations. So anyway, don't mean to get on a ramble. Bear with me. Now, what they're talking about in this article is literally distributed ledger technology. And that's the ISO20022 compliant tokens. And they're all tied into like IBM and all that. That's exactly what they're talking about. So in this article, they basically let you know that you got one very regulated infrastructure that they are setting up in America. And then you have the rest of the world. And that's where you get into CBDCs and cross-border payments and all that. Well, at some point, when we get regulation and clarity, those two entities are going to come together. And the beneficiary of that, hopefully, is going to be us because we're front running all those ISO 222 compliant tokens. And I don't care which one it is. Now, this is not financial advice, but if I mention it in this video or on the thumbnail, they're going to get their share. Some more than others, but they are all going to be in the group that you want to invest. Again, not financial advice, but guys, look, no matter how everything plays out, the banks, the U.S. government, and these mega corporations, powerful entities, they've already put these pieces together. They're not going to tear it apart or let the SEC tear it apart. I truly believe that. Now, how does this relate to the Ripple XRP SEC case? Here's what I really think it's all about. Just like what they said in this article. In this article, they said, we are putting together an infrastructure of the future with blockchain technology and distributed ledger and all that is regulated, period. And we need time to make that happen. Well, they're pretty much getting close, guys. Now, they also talk about how they are not going to allow Bitcoin or unregulated stablecoins to be part of the network. And I didn't mention, but that network is RLN, and that stands for Regulated Liability Network. So that's the network that America has been putting together. Now, I believe the biggest reason, it may not be the only reason, probably not the only reason for sure, but it's the main reason that the SEC went after Ripple, because Ripple has so many services that they could have offered the American bank to just totally disrupt everything, and they stopped it cold. And now, once they get their network in place, because Ripple does have a place in their network, but see, it's on the back end or the rails, but they didn't want all those other services to take over and disrupt what they have been putting in place, as far as a legacy banking system for many years, and lose all that control. I truly believe that. Now, once we get regulation and everything's lined up, that's probably when that court case will end. And then they can bring Ripple into the network. They can tie cross-border payments, CBDCs, or whatever, the global banking infrastructure, and tie it into the American infrastructure. I truly believe that's what it's all about. Now, that part is just my personal thoughts, but the rest of it, as far as ISO 222 compliant tokens is going to get their share, guys, that's already lined up and being put in place more and more and more every single day. They're not going to rip that infrastructure apart. We don't even need to talk about that anymore, in my opinion. Now, that being said, yes, I really thought at one time, and I totally don't know, but I really thought at one time that there was an above average chance that Ripple loses its court case. Not whether they're right or wrong, just because of the agenda I thought the American government has. But if I'm right, and I hope I am, now they may be way more power hungry than I thought. I thought they wanted the power grab and they wanted, make everything a security and all that. But really, guys, after sleeping on it and really thinking about it constantly, here's where I'm at today with all the new information. When you look around the world, guys, America's fallen behind daily in a big way when it comes to, all the cutting edge technology and blockchain. We are behind the 8 ball. I don't think that the SEC even has time to fight the fight they're trying to have. At one point, I thought they could pull it off, but what really got me going, and I should share it, but I just read, like, I don't know, it's 50 pages of the SEC did a full document explaining the Hinman rules. And as I went through that, guys, you could argue almost every point, and there's hundreds of clarification points. You could argue that for 1,000 years. You really could, because if that court case, or if that case goes to court, to a jury trial, man, it could be 10, 20 years, and then you could appeal it. It could go on and on. So it made me come to the realization, this is where I'm at now, that I truly believe the SEC is crooked. They have bad intentions, and it's a power grab, all that. But to me, it's literally, if they try to turn everything into a security and fight that fight, it's trying to put uh, a bag full of water with, holes in it, putting the water back in the bag. You're just not going to be able to do it. They can't win that fight. I truly believe that. So it just changed everything for me. And now I believe that they'll settle. And quite frankly, it probably doesn't matter, like I thought, in the big picture, to crypto, because they're not going to be able to do remotely the damage that people are worried about, and I was worried about. I really don't believe they're going to be able to do all that damage, because if you got, say, 10, 100 tokens or crypto blockchain, groups all fighting the SEC one after the other and starting to sue, guys, they're not going to be able to contain crypto. They should have been containing it 10, 12 years ago from the beginning. Then they could have, changed the future blockchain. But I don't believe, even if Ripple loses, and man, I hope I'm right, and this is just my current opinion, could change tomorrow with new information. But I don't believe that it's going to have the impact that we thought. I do believe that it's going to be the biggest event thus far in crypto, because it is hugely important that Ripple wins this case, and I hope they do. I haven't never really hoped something as bad as that, because I do believe it will just send crypto to the moon, all areas, and it will free people up to build, and America can play catch up and get back out in front and, be the leader in blockchain and crypto and everything like it should. So anyway, guys, I didn't mean to ramble on. Hopefully all this made sense. I think it's really positive, but again, not financial advice. But guys, I have 100% conviction based on what I've seen, and I've confirmed over and over, the ISO tokens that I have listed in this video, in the thumbnail and stuff. Every single one of them have been verified, and they're going to get their share of the pie. I truly believe that. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment sections. Again, I get excited, didn't mean to ramble on. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit that notification so you don't miss anything. And remember, guys, we're going to figure this out together. So give me your input so, we can discuss it and then figure stuff out, because that's what it's all about. I want to follow the money and front run where it's going. And guys, I'm telling you, what's about to happen, whether it's 2 months, 6 months, or even 2 years, which I don't think it's going to be that long, what is lining up with the banks, and I'm not talking about this, I'm talking about with the adoption, like with what's going on with Fidelity, which I have another video coming out about that. I'm telling you guys, this next bull run, I'm talking about when Bitcoin takes out its old high, that bull run is going to be explosive, and you're going to see adoption like you've never seen it before. They're going to come out with wallets that are simple to use. That's in the works. We're going to have compliance. But guys, the number one thing you're going to be able to do, and you can already do it with Fidelity. You can call up Fidelity right now. They're rolling that out. You can buy Bitcoin and put it in your account, right? That's what's happening right now. They have Bitcoin funds. They're rolling all that out. Again, look for that video. But every single bank of any substance around the world, literally, not every single one, because there's countries like, China and Russia, but I'm talking about most of the free world. Every bank is setting up a custody corporation to partner with right now. And once we get regulation and that rolls out, the average person, our grandparents, everyone is going to be able to walk into their bank and buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum. It's not going to be everything at first, but it's definitely going to be those two blockchains, and you will be able to do it as simple as possible. No different than opening up a bank account. You're not going to have to keep your phrases and your passwords. You're not going to have to know any of that. It's going to be simple. And the average person, guys, that's how you're going to get adoption that absolutely explodes. Anyway, guys, I could ramble on for hours. I'm really excited today. And guys, I'm telling you, a calm came over me. And it's like, you got it, man. You got a good game plan. Stick to it, run with it, and I don't have to keep doing those crazy deep dives of trying to link all this together, because I personally believe I got it figured out, and that's good enough for me. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Take care. Come back. Hey, hit that like button. See you later.